What's going on, guys? It's Amir Hussein, and today I'm going to share you guys my story on how I turned about $400 into a little bit over $100,000 with just flipping NFTs. And this is just the start. I'm really young, only 18 years old, and I actually did this feat in about a little bit over a month. So pretty crazy to think about, but I've made well over what I'm saying here, but I just want to tell you guys how I made my first 100,000 within NFTs. So let's just go ahead and get started with that. And so what I'm going to do here is just get started, show you guys like how I found out about NFTs, how I started with NFTs, what I learned like from the basics and everything. And then I'm going to share you guys strategies I used to make bigger and bigger profits as time went. And then I'll share you guys like which groups I was a part of and all that stuff. And then at the end, I'm going to tell you guys where I am right now and how I plan on making over $1 million with NFTs before this year, 2021 ends. So pretty crazy stuff going on. I'm going to show you guys everything. It's going to be some pretty valuable information. So this is going to be a little bit of a long video. So make sure you guys are staying tuned. There's a lot of valuable information throughout this whole video, and I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to go subscribe down below. Don't forget that. So just a little bit of a background on who I am and all that stuff. My name is Amir and I'm 18, and I've been trading stocks for a couple years, and then that got boring. And then I went into crypto, and then I was super excited. I felt energetic. I love the crypto space. I've been doing that for a couple years now. So why I'm actually bringing that up is because one day I was on my Coinbase wallet, not Coinbase, but the Coinbase wallet app. And I was just playing around on the wallet, fiddling around, trying to explore the app for no reason. I was bored. And I came across these crypto kitties, right? And crypto kitties was like this thing back then that no one really knew about. I mean, now I'm sure a lot of you guys know what it is, but crypto kitties was like one of the first big things within NFTs. And that was like the craziest thing back then. If you had a crypto kitty, you were cool and all that stuff. That was before Bored Ape Yacht Club. That was before like Doge Pound and all that stuff. And so I thought the crypto kitty was cool and all that. So I just went ahead and bought it. And the crypto kitty was like $40. And then the gas fees were like around $40. So I was pretty pissed off about that. I was like, wow, just to get this crypto kitty, the gas fees cost like the same amount as the actual crypto kitty. So I was like, whatever, let me just hold on to this. I don't know what this is or what it does. So I ended up exploring crypto kitties, and I saw that you can breed them and stuff, but I never really got into it. So I went ghost within the NFT space. I still didn't really understand what NFTs were. I didn't understand what they can do or like what the potential of it was. So after that, like 5 or 6 months passed, and I never heard about NFTs after that. But then I was at my day job one day in the office, and then this guy comes in and he's like talking about NFTs. And then I sparked the conversation with him. I was like, yo, like, what are you doing here? And then he just started bragging to me about like how much money he's making and how he made like $5,000 after putting only $200 in this NFT. And he was explaining to me like what minting was and all this stuff. And I was like pretty intrigued with it. And I knew a lot about crypto at that time, a while back in like August, I think this was. So I still knew a good amount about crypto, but he was explaining to me like what this minting was and all this stuff. And then he was explaining to me how he's using like a sniper bot to like snipe these NFTs and stuff. And I was pretty intrigued. I was like, yo, show me what the hell you're doing. Show me all of this. So he showed me everything. Literally, he stayed in that office for 1 hour and explained everything to me. And I had this pen and paper and I was writing down everything. And then after that, I brought that paper home after I was done working. And then I went on my computer and searched up everything that this guy told me. And that one day, I spent literally the whole night learning everything about NFTs. And then I woke up the next day pretty refreshed on like what NFTs are and all that stuff. And then I purchased my second NFT. It felt like my first NFT purchase, but it was my second NFT. So I purchased it, picture of a tiger, again, like I said. So then after that, a day passed, 2 days passed, and then a week passed. And then that's when I started really understanding what NFTs were and like what the possibilities were. So from there on, then I started getting into NFT projects before they released, and I started getting in their Discord. I learned everything about Discord just because of NFTs. I learned everything about Twitter just because of NFTs. So I was really like deep, like a complete degenerate in this stuff. Like I was learning everything I could. So from there on, I was getting into my first NFT projects that I was finally going to like completely mint and all this stuff. And I completely failed. Like it went to zero, all that stuff. I got scammed. And so what I started doing to prevent these mistakes happening again is I created a Google Sheets file. And so what I did with this Google Sheets file is I put down all my mistakes and I put down how to avoid them and how I'm not going to do them again. So This policy file that I created was amazing because I was able to use this to help myself avoid possible scams within the future. And this really actually saved me a lot of time, saved me a lot of money. I recommend you guys do that. And this was awesome because now I was pretty much getting into NFT projects and I was scam proof. After I created that file, I never got scammed, never got rugged after that. It was amazing. I never got scammed again. So it was really good. I felt secure. I felt safe within the NFT space now. So a lot of people say like, oh, it's a scam. Oh, I got rugged. Yeah, you have to do things to prevent it. You can't do it again. If you keep on making the same mistake, you're just a freaking idiot. So don't do that. So what you guys want to know, right? This tweet that I made here. How did I turn $400 into $100,000? So this is when the first trade happens. So what I did is I tried to get into cryptodads, right? Their mint day was coming up. This was months ago. So I was trying to get into their mint, right? And I was not able to get in. They sold out so fast. The gas fees were so high. And I was so mad, right? I was like, what the heck? Like, I missed out on this. It's going to go up so much. So cryptodads went up really fast. And I was like, wow, I missed out on this big opportunity. And so what I did is I got into cryptodads, I think right after their reveal. And right after that happened, their floor price tanked. So I bought in at about 0.18. I made a few purchases of a cryptodad at 0.18, right? And with these two cryptodads that I purchased at 0.18, and at the time that was about $400 in Ethereum, right? Now it's like a lot more than that, but that was about $400 in Ethereum, I think even with the gas fees and all that stuff. So pretty crazy to think back then that Ethereum was so cheap, you know, like half the price of what it is now. But I bought the cryptodads, I bought two of them. And then after that, I waited a few days and I was just like checking my phone constantly, checking the floor price. And the floor price actually went from 0.18 to all the way to like 2.3 ETH and within a few days. So this was crazy. So I sold my cryptodad, I sold one of them and I held the other. And I was like, yo, what the heck? Like I just made so much money. And at the time, I think like 2.3 ETH was like almost $8,000. So for me, that was crazy. That was my first big trade from $400 to almost $8,000. And I held my other cryptodad, you know, now, you know, RIP cryptodads, the floor price went down like crazy. I actually sold one of my other cryptodads on the way down at like 1.7 ETH or something. But that 2.3 ETH trade that I made from 0.18 ETH was huge. And that really completely changed everything that I thought about NFTs. I was like, yo, this is actually serious. I see all these people getting rich off of NFTs and stuff, but like I didn't actually think this would happen to me. So this finally happened and I was like, what the hell? Like, what do I do? So what I started doing is fully immersing myself into NFTs, like being a complete degen all day long, all night on my computer, learning everything that I possibly can, going crazy. And I was in the Discords trying to get into whitelist as much as possible, trying to get into private sales. And this was back then when literally every single 10K collection that was created sold out immediately because there was just so much hype within the space. And my mind was spinning crazy. So I told my friend about this. And what we did is we made a plan. You know, we followed our policy that I created. And we started really trying to mint like as much as projects as we can. So we minted gambling apes. We minted galaxy eggs, all this stuff. And then even after we minted them, we bought them on the secondary. We bought them on OpenSea when they had their dip. And I was really making like the best calls ever. I was buying on the absolute lows of these projects and I was just making insane calls. I don't even know how I was doing it, but I was somehow using like intuition, psychology, and human emotion just to figure out when the floor of these projects were going to just completely explode. So that's when I was buying on these projects on their absolute bottom, and it pretty much worked like for 5 times in a row. And it only takes a couple good trades to really get going in this NFT space. So that's what happened with me. I was sitting on about like 75,000 after that, like the cryptodads, galaxy eggs, gambling apes, and I think a few more projects after that, but I was sitting at about 75, and that all happened within a few weeks. And remember, I'm still doing my normal daily activities, and take this into account. I still have to like work, still have to like manage like my family, my girlfriend, all that time. And it was just a lot to handle. And I was staying up so late every single night, almost 4 a.m. every single night, just to avoid the gas fees and save some money. That was really crazy. So what I ended up doing is I saw everyone that had like this ENS address, right? Like the .eth thing. And I was like, yo, this is so cool. So what I ended up doing is I bought a bunch of ENS addresses, ones that I thought that, you know, people would want in the future. And that was back like months and months ago, like back when no one even knew about this ENS stuff, back when only like the big people were having this .eth address. And I was curious what it was. So I bought a bunch of ENS addresses. And as we know today, you know, we got a bunch of airdrops of this ENS address. So now we're at about like late September, and I'm at about 75,000 to like around 100,000 within NFTs. And I'm sitting on a lot of ETH, and, you know, I'm just constantly buying projects and all this. And I'm trying to like get into the mints, get into the private sales. I was really focusing on getting into private sales more and more. And then after that, I stopped getting into public sales completely. I was only getting into projects that I had the private sale or the whitelist in. And then I started discovering what Nansen was. And I actually found this from Brett Malinowski. He's another YouTuber. He was putting this in his YouTube videos a lot. So I discovered what Nansen AI is. It's basically a tool where you're able to like track wallets, find like where all the data is for the NFTs. You can see like the 24-hour market movers. You can see where the smart money's moving. You can see what the top collections are, like profit. It's a bunch of tools. I'm not going to get into it too much, but a bunch of tools. I started using the smart money tracker and stuff, and I started doing wallet tracking, and I really figured out where the smart money was moving. So I started doing this, and it started getting harder and harder to make money in NFTs as time went. And so I used this as like my second hand to help me find where all the money was moving, and I wanted to be a part of that. I was like, I want to go where the rich people are going. So I started doing that. And for example, let's just use this as an example. We can see that some smart money buys here. You know, right now I don't have the wallet tracker on because this is a different account, but here, for example, we can see that this guy's minting a lot of Neo Tokyo Part 4 land deeds. And we can see here, if we go on the page for Neo Tokyo Part 4 for Nansen AI data, we can see a lot of cool stats here for Neo Tokyo. And we can see that there's, you know, wallets buying here, this and that. And if I were want to go on their OpenSea, I can just go directly to their OpenSea. And then I can just go on their page and then see everything that they have going on. So for example, I can see here using Nansen AI data that this project has a ton of volume happening right now within the past hour. And this project just released. I actually already know a little bit behind this project. Alex Becker just dropped the contract address on his Twitter, so a lot of people are minting this right now. But this is a great tool to use if you guys have a little extra money to spend. This is, I think, about like 150 a month. I have no partnership with these guys, not endorsing them, but I'm just saying it's a great tool to use if you guys want to get into like the more analytical side of the NFT space. And there is other tools that are cheaper. We have like icy tools. Here's icy tools. Here's another one. There's a bunch of great tools out there for you guys. There's even some free ones out there. Like we have NFT stats. NFT gem. NFT stats is the most basic tool out there. You can just see a bunch of stuff with like charts and volume and number of NFTs sold and all that. So those are some of the tools I use to help myself get farther within the NFT space and make even more and more profit as time went. I haven't made money every day. I've had my failures. I've had a ton of failures, and I know we only like to show the successes here on social media and on YouTube and Twitter and all that stuff, but I've had a lot of failures. I told you guys back then when I was just getting started before I had a policy, I got scammed a few times. I lost a couple $1,000s here and there, and I was really down on myself. And the psychology behind it is you can't really stop. I actually had a talk with my friend in the car when I was just getting started with NFTs, and I was like, yo, let's work till this stuff until we hit 100,000 by the end of the year. So we basically just set a goal, make $100,000 in NFTs before the year ends. And when I told him that, I was like, there's no way we're going to do that. In my head, I was like, how am I going to do this? This is a crazy goal. But the good thing about setting crazy goals is that they're crazy. They're hard to reach. So the ironic part is I actually reached that goal pretty much a month and a half after I made that goal. So really crazy to think about. You guys just have to set your goals really, really high in this space. And you can do great things if you just put your mind to it. And for me, I just told myself I'm not going to give up until I get this. And so for a little bit of a background of like what I'd done in the past before NFTs, I actually turned a stock portfolio up 50% within a year. So I've done pretty impressive stuff within trading in the past. And with crypto too, I've made good amount of money with shit coins and meme coins. And I've done like all the other things with Ethereum and Cardano. I've made a lot of money off Cardano when it was like super cheap. Made a good amount of money off Polkadot when it was super cheap back then. Made a lot of money off Polygon when it was cheap. I bought Decentraland at 2 cents. I think now it's like a couple dollars or something. I don't know where it's at, but I was one of the early adopters into many of these things. I was an early adopter into the metaverse back all the way in, I think, January. I can even pop up the screenshot here for you guys. So just because I'm pretty young within this space and all that, that doesn't mean I don't know how to trade. That doesn't mean I don't know how to make money. I've been doing this for a while. I've been making money off of trading for a while. I don't need anyone telling me to like buy here, buy there. I don't need calls or anything like that. I can do this stuff on my own. I actually made a Patreon, and what it is I basically just get you into a bunch of free whitelists, bunch of private sales for a bunch of projects that are actually quality, not shitty projects. And then I also get you guys some cool calls. Tell you guys like what I'm buying and all that stuff. I don't believe in calls in the NFT space, but here I'm just telling you guys what I think is gonna go up. And then I'll also give you guys like a bunch of updates, tools, and then you guys basically get the top perk of being in a really high level alpha club. So you guys are going to be able to exchange high level information between each other. And this is going to be on Discord. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and join. But besides that, let's continue. But besides that, guys, just to go over like what I was trading and how I started. Again, I started with a few NFTs back then, crypto kitties way back. And then I started with like some tiger NFT. And then I got into my first real big trade. I went from a cryptodad, and then I went to galaxy eggs, gambling apes, all this stuff, a bunch of other cool ones too. But this is where I basically started, and some people that really helped me out was like Alex Becker and a few other guys, but I was really immersing myself, guys. You have to really get into this if you really want to make some real profits. But if not, you guys can join an alpha group where they pretty much like tell you what to buy and all that stuff. Besides that, guys, I mean, I'm not the best storyteller in the world. I don't think I'm a genius in trying to like make an organized story and organized timeline of like what I did and everything, but I try my best. But besides that, guys, the next video that I come out that's going to be like this is going to be how I went from $400 to $500,000. And we're almost there, so I'm going to be coming out with that video very soon. And then after that, it's going to be how I turned $400 into $1 million. And that's going to be relatively soon after that one. So I'm really excited for all this, guys. If you guys want to stay tuned, if you guys want to be able to make money in NFTs, I'm constantly giving you guys good calls on this channel. I'm constantly giving you guys really good calls on Twitter. And the best of all, on my Patreon, link down below. If you guys join that, you're going to be able to get access to all the cool shit, all the cool alpha, all the calls, everything, all the whitelist, all the private sales, whatever the hell you want is going to be in that Patreon. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This one's a little bit different from what I usually do. But if you guys want to know everything about NFTs, if you guys want to stay updated on the latest content, this is the right channel for all of that. Again, not a financial advisor, not giving you guys financial advice from now until the end of the universe and all that good stuff. So thank you guys again. Stay tuned. Follow my Twitter, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one.